What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and this podcast being brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. The DraftKings Pick 6 with the code JUICE. You play $5, you get $50 back instantly in Pick 6 credits. Okay, get comfortable. I got a lot to get to. I have 5 official plays for us. I have a couple of other bets you can also jump into if you'd like to as well on this sports extravaganza. I mean, we're talking college football playoff games, huge NFL football games, college basketball, a monster heavyweight fight in Saudi Arabia between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. We've got NHL games, NBA games. I mean, my goodness gracious, do we have an awesome day of sports. Get comfortable. I got picks and plays and bets for us all coming up. One quick thing to say about Indiana. I'm sorry for the bet. My bad. Indiana plus 7.5. Awful bet. They lost by 10. Over 52. Never was even close to happening. 0-2, down 2.3 units on the day yesterday. We snapped the 3-game winning streak for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We come in with a loser on Friday. Why am I apologizing? I've lost 2 bets before and gone 0-2. Not that uncommon. I'm apologizing because if that game had been played on December the 3rd, I would have bet on Notre Dame. Now, it would have been sweaty at the end, but I would have bet on Notre Dame. Why? Indiana was a fraud. I knew they were a fraud. I said it on the Discord chat when we had the bracket come out and Indiana was a part of it. I was ferociously angry at Indiana being a part of that bracket. Going on the road against Indiana, 200-mile ride, might have been 2,000-mile ride because they weren't even in the same league. And I don't think the Irish are all that good, okay? I think that they're an average football team playing at home, no killer instinct, couldn't have, other than outside the 98-yard run by Love, they didn't do very much offensively. I don't like Leonard all that much. I love their defense. But against Georgia, I'll take Georgia's defense to really shut down that Irish offense. Low-scoring game. Bet the under in that game. We'll talk about that later on, but that's an under game between Georgia and the Irish. Oh, boy. I mean, that's going to be a low-total, low-scoring game. But Indiana, we knew what they were. You know, distill the Dennis Green line. They are who we thought they were. They just lived up to it. They had no business being in the bracket. None. They've played 2 teams this year. 2. Ohio State on the road, got worked. Notre Dame on the road, and got worked. Schedule strength needs to be a thing. Forget how many points you win by against cream puff teams. Did you play anybody of value? Talent matters in this tournament, okay? Talent matters. Georgia, 6-1 to win it all. Talent matters. That's why I bet Georgia, okay? Talent matters. Also, draw matters too, but Georgia getting Notre Dame, I think, is a very good thing. The Irish will have their hands full, even with the backup quarterback. We'll get to it later, but Stockton's not worried. I'm not worried about Stockton at the quarterback spot for Georgia. I think he's going to be just fine having the ability to run the football a lot more. He'll be much more of a running quarterback than a throwing quarterback, which if you saw the game tonight, there were opportunities, but the quarterback for Indiana just runs in molasses. Couldn't get away from some pretty slow defensive linemen for Notre Dame. Not going to be the case against Georgia, especially with ETN running the football as well. So, get to that later, but I like Georgia's chances, even though they're only a -1 favorite. They were a dog. The look-ahead line was the Irish -2.5. Now it's Georgia -1. So respect for the dogs with the reset for the sports books, rightfully so. All right, so I've got 2 bets to go today in college football, 1 in college basketball, 1 in the NFL, and 1 in boxing. So 5 plays in total to give you guys here in just 1 second. By the way, I know I have nothing on Tennessee, Ohio State. You can bet the under, but I have no idea what to do with that game. I am completely clueless on that game. I lean towards the under. That's it. But Tennessee can score. Josh Heupel, Josh Heupel is really good on the road. Get this number for Josh Heupel. Just if you want to bet it, just here's a number for you to kind of go really wild. Josh Heupel on neutral site in road games is 39-1 ATS in the first half as a head coach, covering every game by over a field goal. Okay? Just saying, maybe a decent bet if you want to make it. Tennessee in the first half against Ohio State, plus a couple of points, 2, 3, 4 points. Probably not a bad bet, and probably a bet that I'm going to be on here for Tennessee and Ohio State, but I've got nothing official on Tennessee and Ohio State. This podcast is being brought to you by Edge Boost. Guys, have you gone and checked this out yet? If you're looking for a way to get cash back and to load funds onto your favorite sportsbook or daily fantasy site, our partner here, Edge Boost, the financial platform for smart bettors, allows you to do just that. Go to bettingpros.com/boost. Enter your information. Link your Edge Boost cash back Visa card to any sportsbook, and for a limited time, earn 0.5% cash back on all the deposits with no limits. Edge Boost offers you instantly the ability to load and withdraw funds to and from your favorite platforms. Normal waiting periods when you are trying to transfer funds from one book to another to catch a line you like. Edge Boost pays you every time you have a transaction just for using the card. Depending on how many times you withdraw and redeposit, you could earn thousands in cash back. There are no minimums or costs to maintain an account. Edge only makes money when you use the card, and they pass through the significant portion of that as cash back. The card is backed by a no fee, no minimum, FDIC insured, dedicated betting bank account, meaning no frozen accounts or transaction reviews. It's a safe place for which to deposit and withdraw your money. Sign up today. bettingpros.com/boost and lock in your 0.5% cash back offer for a limited time. That's bettingpros.com/boost to go and sign up for Edge Boost today. Okay. Get comfortable. Got a lot of things to get to here on the Daily Juice podcast. Let's start here with the first game of the day with Penn State, and Penn State at home here up against SMU. It's going to be chilly, cold. Look, we don't bet the wet. We bet the wind. But wind's not going to be a really big part here, okay? The total is 53.5. Penn State is 5-2 to the under at home this year. SMU is facing a defense that's going to be able to run with them. This is not the ACC, okay? This is the Big Ten. This is the Big Ten on the road in Happy Valley in December, and you saw what happened. Even Indiana had a hard time on the road against the Irish. This is a team from Dallas, Texas, going up to Happy Valley to play in a place that they've never played before. Look, I like Penn State to cover the 8 points, okay? I think Penn State wins this game. But I am afraid of James Franklin. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that James Franklin against the number is extremely worrisome. The guy just flat out sucks against top 15 teams. There's no other way else to say it about how bad James Franklin is in a big game. SMU is 11th in the latest poll. Franklin has faced 39 opponents ranked in the top 15. He's 7-32 straight up in those games. This would be the biggest favorite in any of those games, where he's currently an 8-point favorite. As either a favorite or an underdog of 4 points or fewer, he's 4-10 straight up against top 15 teams. The vast majority of those games are against Ohio State and Michigan, okay? So he just hasn't done well. However, Penn State, off of a loss, is 18-4 straight up, but just 9-12-1 against the number when they are favored by 7 points or more, coming off of a game in which they have lost. This is not great, okay? I'm very concerned about this in terms of him covering the 8. They can win by 7. Absolutely backdoor. You saw it almost here last night with Indiana. We almost got there. 7.5 almost came in. They lost by 10. They had a 2-point conversion to cut it down to 8. We would have lost in the hook. So I'd rather not. The last night's game and SMU Penn State might be very, very similar, okay? I think the safer play is just to say SMU is not going to score. Like SMU is going to get dominated, and they're not going to be able to move the football up against this Penn State defense, which is just stout. I mean, just absolutely and totally stout. I look at this Penn State team, 5-2 to the over SMU this year, okay? So where did they go on the road? They went to Nevada. That game was under. They went to Louisville. That game was over. Every game for Louisville was over. They went to Stanford. That game was under. They went to Duke. That game was over. They went to Virginia. That game was under. They played Clemson on a neutral in the ACC championship game, and the game flew over by 8.5 points, 34-31. This total being 53.5 for me. If you look at just where we are with Penn State at home, Bowling Green was 51. Game went over by 10 points back in September. Kent State was 58. It was 56-0. Game went under. Against Illinois, it was 48.5. 21-7. Game went under. Against UCLA, it was 48. 27-11. Game went under. Against Ohio State, 47.5. It went under by 14.5. 20-13. Against Washington, 48. Went under. 35-6. The win for Penn State, under by 7. Now, the last home game against Maryland, 44-7. Game went over by 0.5 point. It was 50.5. This is 53.5. This is too many points. Okay? This is too many points in my mind for a Penn State game where James Franklin's going to play conservatively. Like, I can't see James Franklin not trying to run the ball consistently here and really use the running attack for Penn State up against an SMU rushing defense that on paper is pretty good, but they haven't seen a Penn State offensive line. They haven't seen a Big Ten offensive line, and they haven't seen 25-degree temperatures with a Penn State offensive line in Happy Valley with the whiteout. I just think it's going to be a grinder of a game for Penn State. I think they run the ball, they run the clock. 53.5 is too many points. We're going under. Penn State and SMU under 53.5 to start the day off. Noon Eastern time, 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time start for Penn State and SMU, under 53.5 for 1.1 units. I will be on Penn State -8. Okay, I will lay the 8 with Penn State, I do think, but I can't make it official because I do not trust James Franklin. That is a dangerous place. Like I mentioned, with the other game with Tennessee and Ohio State, I think first half Tennessee is a good play. I'll be on that first half in the Tennessee, but I don't want any part of the game. Under for the game, probably, if you had to bet it there, but under 53.5 Penn State and SMU, but I think you can lay the 8 points too with Penn State if you want something else on that game coming up. The other game is Texas and Clemson. Man, this number is big. This number is ridiculous. 13.5. What are we doing? This is a playoff game. Clemson that bad. ACC that bad. Clemson got in. SMU won. Clemson got in. They were the second to last team, to get in here. And Indiana was questionable. Clemson's questionable. SMU won the ACC, so they got in. Clemson to the under on the road this year, 4-2. Texas at home to the under this year, 4-2-1. Last 4 games of the year went under for Texas. And if you go all the way back to the 21st of September, only one game has gone over for the Texas Longhorns. That was at home against Florida. Total was 49. They scored 49, won 49-17. Every other game under. And when we got to this level of a total, we crossed 50. At home this year, there were one game against Georgia and one game against Mississippi State, Louisiana Monroe, and Texas San Antonio, and Colorado, where it crossed 50. Every game went under. Every one of those games went under. UTSA did not. No, so everyone but the UTSA game. That game went over by 7.5, 56-7. But against Georgia, this is a playoff game type thing, right? 30-15, they lost, under by 11.5 points. When they go in Kentucky, 46.5, 31-14 win. Game went under by 1.5 points. Oklahoma was a neutral site game for them in the Red River. That was 49, went under by 12 points. This Texas defense is tremendous. I don't know how many points Clemson scores. This is the problem. On the flip side, I think Clemson's defense is a little bit underrated. I think Texas is going to face a defense that could hold them down. Georgia gave them the blueprint, right? Just go ahead and take away the run and make them throw. Make Quinn Ewers throw the football. And Clemson's secondary is, decent. Not outstanding, but decent. 6.2 yards per pass play is 20th in the country. They do give up 4.5 yards per rush. That's how many yards on average Texas runs as well. 77th for Clemson defensively. That's not great. They give up 23 points. That's top 40 in the country. Texas, 12.5, top 2 in the country here. Just don't know how many points Clemson and Cabe Klubnik's going to score. Can't have turnovers. Just can't have Cabe Klubnik turn the football over. But this could be a rout. I mean, this could be like 30-3. This might be an absolute shellacking with Tennessee cleaning Clemson's clock. But I'm just going to go ahead and bet the under in this game. I'm going to come in and just 50.5. Come and bet the under. I just think this is too many points for Texas, and the weather won't be a problem. It's going to be 60 degrees. It's going to be balmy. It's going to be beautiful. Just think Texas runs around. Their defense runs around, and really Clemson has a tough time scoring. I'd rather you can bet Clemson team total under if you want to. You want to bet that's not a horrible play either if you want to jump in on that. So the two plays for the college football playoff, under 53.5 Penn State SMU, and under 50.5 for Texas and Clemson. Since the theme here today, there kind of is one. Let's go to the NFL. Let's talk about Lamar Jackson and his struggles against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is 1-4 straight up and 0-5 against the number against Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Against everybody else, he's 52-39-1 ATS. That is brutal. Brutal. Over the last 20 years, the underdog in the Steelers-Ravens rivalry is covering at a 74% clip, 29-10-3. In the regular season, when the line is 3 or more, the dog is 23-4-3. Underdog is 16-2-1 ATS when the spread is 5.6 or more. In the regular season, the underdog when Tomlin is facing John Harbaugh is 24-6-3. Since 2020, the final margin between these teams is 2-7-7-3, 2-3-1, 5-4. The line 6.5. 6.5. What is going on? The number for this game started at 45 or 46. Over the last 20 years, when the total is 45 or higher, the under is 7-2 when these two teams play. The under has hit for 8 straight meetings between the Steelers and the Ravens. Okay? So what am I doing here? I think the Ravens win because they have to. No George Pickens is a huge factor in this game because Russell Wilson can't move the football. Steelers couldn't move the ball on the Eagles, but the Ravens don't have the Eagles' defense. Like, there's no Cooper DeJean running around in the back for the Ravens. And I like Kyle Hamilton. Don't get me wrong. I like him. You can't run on these guys, but you can throw on the Ravens. Like, we've talked about this all year. You can throw on the Ravens. For that reason, I'm not petrified of the total, but I'm a little petrified of the total. I'm a little scared of it. This is same game teaser written all over it, okay? This is go ahead and let's go and take the Steelers up to 13, and let's go from 44.5, and let's go up to 51.5 and go under, okay? I just read off those trends. Let's go Steelers plus 13 and under 51.5 for 1.2 units. Sorry, that should be 1.2, not 1.1. That's 1.2 units. Same game teaser. Steelers plus 13, under 51.5. I have no idea what to do with the Texans. None. Texans against the Chiefs. That feels like the Charger game. Chiefs win by 2. But I can't trust the Texans at all. Their offensive line is so bad, like so bad against that Chiefs defense. That game might get ugly. If the Texans can't protect C.J. Stroud and he gets rushed and he starts throwing jump balls and strip sacks and stuff like that, I want no part of the Texans at all. That's a danger spot for me. So no play at all in the Texans and the Chief game. But my gut tells me that the Chiefs can't cover that. But I want no part of betting it because, like I just said, I think the offensive line is so bad. All right, big college basketball game. Purdue and Auburn. Number 2 team in the country, Auburn, ranked number 1 on KenPom. They have a massive injury, just a massive injury. I don't think, and this bet is because Broom's not playing, hurt the shoulder against Texas A&M. All accounts is he's not playing in this game, okay? If he plays, this bet's gone. Get out of it. Okay? If Broom is in the lineup for Auburn, punt out of this bet. All right? The total is 150. Auburn's favored by 8.5 here. in this game. These teams are pretty much over teams. 4-1 Auburn over their last 5 to the over. 3-2 over the last 5 for Purdue to the over. On the road, Purdue, though, is 3-2 to the over. 3-2 to the under. Auburn is 4-2 to the over. Last game for Purdue against Texas A&M, game went under 70-66. It was 143, went under by 7 points. But last game against Georgia State went over for Auburn in a 159 victory. That was the game that Broome got hurt. Against Ohio State, game went under 151.5. Game went under. They won the game 91-53. KenPom has this at 155. Okay. Total's 150. So KenPom says it's an over, but I don't believe Broome's going to play. That's the best player in the SEC, maybe the best player in college basketball. I think Purdue is going to try to slow this game down. Why? Because Purdue, for their average possession length, is 313th in college basketball. They have no desire to play fast with Auburn. They also don't rebound the basketball all that well. So I don't think they want to get into an up-tempo game with a lot of possessions, because I think they're going to get, with Broome out, it'll be a little easier for them. He's 6'9". He's a big rebounder, but not having him on the court for Auburn, again, they're number 1 offense in efficiency, number 6 in effective field goal percentage. They're 7th in 2-point percentage. They're 43rd in 3-point percentage. Auburn's tremendous. I think Auburn could win this game, should win this game going away. It's in Birmingham, though. This is a neutral. This is semi-neutral. It's an Auburn home game, but it's not on campus, okay? Purdue defensively isn't horrible. They're 67th in efficiency, 136th in field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, 110th in 3-point defense, 186th in 2-point defense. Not great, but they also defensively make you work. They're 121st in average possession length. Auburn equally makes you work. They're 287th, 18 seconds average possession. So Purdue plays slow, and Auburn makes you work. That means long possessions. Auburn also can kill you with runs, and Purdue knows this. Auburn can go 10-0 runs on a blink, and all of a sudden they're hitting threes, they're running. Purdue's not going to want that. Matt Painter's a very good coach. I think they slow it down. I'm going to play the under. Under 150 for Purdue and Auburn. Long possessions, no Broome again. If Broome's not playing, that's a huge factor, okay? If Broome's in there, can't bet him, okay? This game is bet the over, okay? Where we're going, bet the over, get out of this bet, okay? But if he's out with the shoulder injury, this is a 4:30 tip-off on ESPN, 4:30 Eastern tip-off on ESPN. Under 150 for Purdue and Auburn for 1.1 units. And finally, this is normally a nightcap. This is not a nightcap. This is a 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, heavyweight championship fight of the world. Tyson Fury up against Alexander Usyk. This is going to be amazing. These guys engaged in an 8-minute stare down between. The size difference is dramatic. It's like 280 to 225 for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a plus 120 dog. Okay? Everyone's saying to bet Usyk. I bet Usyk in the first fight, if you remember back in May. All right? Usyk's the better boxer. No debating it. But I love talking to my boxing coaches here in Vegas, and for the most part, all of them have said the same thing. In the first match, Usyk got hurt with an uppercut, and the coaches couldn't figure out why Tyson Fury kept on going back. Why did he allow Usyk to push him, the smaller man, the shorter man? Why did they allow him to push him up against the ropes? It was a horrible strategy. It didn't make any sense. It's like Fury expected a 1 or 2 knockout punch to end Usyk, and when it didn't happen, things got problematic. He didn't take him seriously. According to Tyson Fury, whether you care about this stuff or not, he hasn't talked to his wife in 3 months. Does it matter? Not really to me. He can't fight off the back foot. If he goes forward, he should win this. I don't care about the narrative saying, oh, it's going to be a trilogy and everything else, okay? You get plus money on a money line play. So you get the knockout and you get the money line on a decision that could go our way, because boxing would love to see a trilogy fight between these three, and boxing loves that trilogy fight. It's just how it is. Big money for that. Usyk wins the first. Fury wins the second. Let's see what happens in the third. Fury also confirmed, he said not in a million years would he retire after this fight, win or lose. He's not retiring. So that's not on his mind at all. Usyk's an incredible fighter. I love him. I do. But this is not a guy who's a true heavyweight. If Fury uses his length, and I don't need his weight. I don't need him to lean on him. That didn't work in the first fight. He can't do that again. He didn't tire out Usyk. Usyk's got a grappling background. Usyk is a guy who's tough as nails. You aren't going to push this guy around, okay? You have got to find a way to hurt him with body shots. I want to see Fury go to the body a lot on this. If he does, the head comes down, then the uppercut comes in, and that's how he can end the fight. Okay, that's how Fury can end the fight with Usyk. It's not going to be easy. Okay, this is a coin flip. Okay, I'm taking the plus just because I'm taking the plus. But you tell me Usyk wins, I'm not going to push back all that hard because I got to see the first couple of rounds. Okay, I got to see how Tyson Fury is in the ring. Is he going to be aggressive? If he is not, done deal. Usyk wins. All right. He's got to come out early. He has to establish length, establish distance, keep Usyk off of him, and go forward. Fight on the front foot. If he's going back up against the ropes, if he's going to have to take absorbing the punches he took, he almost got knocked out. Okay. If you remember, Usyk really dazed him badly. He won the fight, but he dazed him badly. And arguably the referee could have stopped the fight and just said TKO. And he didn't, which was somewhat shocking because I was watching the fight going, that's a TKO. That fight's over. I thought the judges were going to screw Usyk and not give him the fight. They gave it to him. They almost didn't, but they gave it to him. It was right. He won that fight without a doubt. Fury has to be aggressive. If he is not, he will lose. So can't push. Okay. You can't do this whole body. You got to just punch the guy. This is a boxing match, not a grappling match, not a wrestling match like he tried to make it in the first fight. He's not going to tire out Usyk. He's got to hurt him. He claims he's going to hurt him. He claims that he is going to erase everything about this. Fury wanted this fight. He asked for this fight. He pushed for this fight. So let's see what happens. We get knockout and we get on the cards. Money line, plus 120, Tyson Fury over Alexander Usyk. I'm not going to be angry, though, if the WBA, WBO, and WBC heavyweight championship stays with Usyk, because I love the story, and I think he's a true boxer. He is a gritty guy, but I think I'd want to see this 3 times. And I hope that Fury is at his best. I hope we see the best out of Tyson Fury. I hope we see him be aggressive. If he is not, and he does not, I'm going to dish out a whole lot of pain. If that does not happen and he's not aggressive, Usyk wins. But I'll take the plus 120 here for Fury over Usyk, money line in the heavyweight championship of the world. All right? We're loaded, boys and girls. We are loaded, okay? The card officially, Penn State, under 53.5 against SMU. I don't mind a first quarter SMU because guess who takes the ball first every single time and scoring early until Penn State gets an idea of what SMU is going to do? Don't mind SMU to score first. That bet. Don't mind SMU in the first quarter to have a lead either. That's not horrible for Penn State, for SMU and Penn State. Don't mind that bet. You want to make that? Don't mind that. First half, Texas and Clemson. Don't mind that, but I think Texas could run away with it. We'll see, but we're going under 50.5 for Texas and Clemson. You want first half for Ohio State, Tennessee. You can play that as well if you want something in that game. Play the first half for Tennessee plus the points up against Ohio State. It's probably +6, +7. Probably not a horrible play for Tennessee in the first half to have that game be close. In the first half against Ohio State on the road. Don't know if Ohio State loses like everyone thinks, but the public dog is Tennessee today. In the NFL, Steelers +13, teased up from 6.5 or 7, teased from 7 up to 6 from a 6-point teaser, and then the total from 44.5 up to 51.5, and we're going under. We're going under 150 for Purdue and Auburn in college basketball, and Tyson Fury on the money line up against Alexander Usyk at plus 120. So 4 unders. If we see a ton of offense and scoring, I'm screwed, and the day will blow up. But dogs and unders. We're going dogs and unders on a Saturday here in December. Let's see what happens. Fade away if you would like. The entire week will hinge on whether or not we have a winning day here today. If we go like 1-3 or 1-4 rather, it'll be a losing week. If we go 4-1, it'll be a winning week. Let's see how we do here today on a Saturday. My name's Matt Perrault. Follow me across all socials at Sports Talk Matt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, presented by DraftKings.